Hello, welcome to Beau Hannam Guitars. In this video I'm going to be showing you my favorite new repair tool in Luthier, and I'm also going to show you a hot tip on how to make it even better. This is a really amazing repair tool for guitar repairers, ukulele repairers, anyone who repairs instruments with sort of flat or flattish tops and backs and sides. There are flat areas on sides. So what it does is it sands the insides of things from the outside. You'll get the idea. It's so good, I got two, so I'm going to use this one. This is a 3D printed two-part contraption. This internal area here spins while the outside sheath remains in place, and it has a little bit of felt here. What is beautiful about this thing is the second part, which is this, and you might be able to see the shadow of 4 magnets on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there is corresponding magnets on here, and so that snaps into place like that. On the little puck part, which has some Lego kind of dots, you put some sandpaper. And what is cool, this is actually something that was invented by Frank Ford back in 2002. His version is on the Frets website. Frank being Frank, he lathed and milled it out of solid chunk of Perspex or something. So Frank Ford's magnetic spin sander was redesigned in a 3D printed version by Massimiliano Monterosso. Let's just call him Max from now on. And here is what I presume Max looks like, or he could look like this, I don't know. And since filming this video, Max has come up with 2 new versions of the Roto sander. There's the normal one, which I'm showing you here. Then there's the mini, which is the same thing, just in a smaller size, which is great for ukuleles and between braces or, you know, tighter areas. And there's also one called Max, which costs 10 euros extra, and it just has stronger magnets. And with the Max stronger magnet version, you can sand a bridge plate with the bridge still attached, but you can't do that with the normal or mini. And apparently the stronger version is too strong to use on a normal thickness top or back. It's just a bit too aggressive and you remove too much wood. So if you're just doing what I'm showing in this video, stick to the normal or the mini. But if you need to sand a bridge plate with the bridge still on, then get the Max. And for 25 euro, it's just amazing. It's already paid for itself. So this is the Sandpaper puck. This is my fake guitar top or whatever top, and that is on there. And then if I put this on here, so pretend this has some element that you want to or need to sand off. So an old repair, there might be some glue residue, there might be some old bit of cleat that you need to get rid of before you put in a new cleat, something like that. So what this does is it sands the inside. But you can see here that the outside sheath, which has the felt on it, might be a bit hard to see, so I'm going to draw some lines on this. You can see that only the inner element is turning. So to give you some visuals on how this works and why it's so excellent is I've got this 1957, J45, and the bridge was popping up and I realized that the bridge plate needed to come out as well. And so there is some residue glue in there before I have to do another thing, which is to use a TJ Thompson belly reducer. So I'm going to be using this. For this job, it's not that essential to require this because this area is only 5 inches away from the sound hole. It's pretty easy to get your hand in with a little block of wood with sandpaper on it and clean it up. If you've ever tried to sand with a little block deep inside a guitar for 20 minutes, you will do anything to not do that again. And the solution is just to buy one of these, and it really is amazing. Where this really excels is when you have to sand an area like this or on the back to clean up the wood to receive another cleat or glue or both. But now I've got this, it's just sort of something that I'm going to be reaching for all the time. The day I got this, I used it within about 5 minutes on a guitar just behind the camera to fix or to sand a previous repair, which was a top crack. And the previous repair was CA glue, and it had kind of stained the inside of the top, so I had to sand some of that away just to give me at least a reasonable surface to which to glue a new cleat, which was a full-length TJ Thompson cleat, and it worked great. It cleaned up the glue, it made sure that any tiny little discrepancy in thickness or in surface flatness was now good. As an optional extra, you can use a bit of wax paper. I find that using this, it helps this part slide over more. It's not essential, but that's just something I do. So I find that you have to hold the bottom of it just lightly, just like that. If you hold it further up, it kind of pinches, and it means that the internal area catches on the outside area, so everything spins. So just make sure this is free spinning, and the best way to do that is to just hold it by its base like that, and then you won't have anything spinning where it shouldn't. So this is my first roto sander, which I usually put 120 grit sandpaper on. It depends on the situation, but 120 is pretty good. I have used 80 grit if it really needs it. The Lego man is an optional extra, but you know, it looks cool, and now I want to collect Lego people. And this is the puck of my second roto sander, which has 180 grit sandpaper on it, and it does a really good job of cleaning things up. This is a different guitar with the bridge off, but the bridge plate's still on. I had to plug the bridge pin holes with epoxy. And to do this job by hand would be an absolute nightmare, but with, I think, 80 grit sandpaper, this cleaned up really nicely. I hope that kind of demonstrates how effective this little tool is, the Roto sander. It really is a work of art. Thank you, Frank Ford. Thank you, Maxmonte, whatever your Italian name is. €25. I don't know what that is, and shipping is a bit extra. So I'll leave a link to the original Frank Ford entry on frets.com, and I'll leave a link to Max's website where you can buy this. Highly, highly, highly recommend this if you're doing repairs, internal repairs on instruments with flat-ish surfaces. I say flattish, this is actually 15-foot radius, as is the top probably. 88.8% of people who watch my videos are not subscribed, so if you could do me a massive favor and like and subscribe, not in that order, subscribe then like, that would be fantastic and really help me out. It just in every way. It's just YouTube, it's just the way it all works. Leave a comment as well, that helps. Okay, back to it.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
So while this internal thing spins independently of the outer sheath, sometimes it does get a little bound up if you're not holding it on the bottom. So I have a little tip for making it even better, and that is to glue on a little piece of perspex or wood or whatever onto here, and then that solidifies this element, which is the thing that binds it a tiny bit if you hold it slightly too high or too firmly. So a little tip is to make some lines on this top area so when we sand it flat it will be even. But now I'm just going to carefully sand this on a block of fairly flat wood and just remove those marks. Okay, all done. That took like 15 seconds sanding, just carefully, and I was kind of rotating it a little bit as I was sanding just so I didn't put pressure on one area of this. Also sand the perimeter of the disc, probably not necessary, but why not? So I'm ready to glue on the lid to strengthen it. I'm going to use medium thick CA glue just because it's right there. I don't have to mix up 5-minute epoxy. There is a very small amount of room here, and I'm going to hit every segment with a drop or two of thick CA glue, but I'm not going to use much. I'm going to use more dots, but smaller dots instead of glooping it on, because I don't want and absolutely cannot get any adhesive into the spinny area, because that will seize the entire thing up, of course. So just be careful. I'm kind of slipping it off the back just so I don't get any little bit of glue on the inside. And when you do this, you want to make sure that it's just cleanly down, you're not pushing in the sides or anything. The supplied hexagon shaft thing that goes into here has a press fit, but it is pretty tight. But if it's just a bit too tight, just a couple of swipes of sandpaper on each of the 6 sides. Then I just press fit this in, and there we go. Another thing which will benefit this is dry graphite lubricant. This is good for door locks and padlocks and stuff like that, but if you put it in here, it will just mean that you'll get less friction, which is always better. So I'll dump this inside each of the slots and then put tape around it just so it doesn't go everywhere, and that will be an optimized roto sander. So that's been graphited, which is a word now. Now I'm going to put some nice green tape on it just to cover up the slits and the holes that I don't want the graphite to be falling out of. On the top here as well, trying to cover up as much of the graphite coming out as I can. I am of course making this a lot uglier, but I'd rather it perform just as good as it can. I can feel that it's way nicer inside. It's dust free, and now I'm squeezing the top and I can't make it bind up, which is great. It's actually more in line actually with Frank Ford's now, because he had proper ball bearings on the top and bottom and it was over-engineered, but it was, you know, amazing, like everything Frank did. Just a slight word of warning. If you use graphite, just tape everything up so it doesn't get out, and I wouldn't want some of that to get in the crack that you are probably sanding with this. When I got my first one and used it a couple of times, I messaged Max and told him that it was binding up if I held it any higher than kind of there. So what he's done, and if you order it after today, you will get this new upgraded version. He's beefed up the walls on the sides here, the outer shell, and he's made these slits less deep. So the outer sheath is now stiffer. So when you order your new one, you probably won't even have to make this lid. It'll just be as good as this hot rodded lid one is, but without having to make it. So that's great. So thank you again. Like, subscribe, all that sort of thing. Hope you learned something. Bye.